Guys, it's time for real talk with the real Rick Glaser. Boy, we're going to talk about, look, this isn't your favorite topic, is it, Rick? PVC and Tank Davis. But we're going to start out
No.
with that, guys. Yeah. All this and more on the latest edition of Real Talk with Rick Glaser.
How you doing? You too can smell manly if you listen to Real Talk with Rick Glaser.
Wow, thank you, Mr. Balboa. I appreciate it. Guys, it's that time on Monday evening. It's time for Real Talk with the incomparable Rick Glaser. Rick, how are you doing tonight, brother?
Good. I'm doing well. Fire away. It's a quick half hour tonight. We're gonna get rolling here, and we're gonna answer all these questions honestly, truthfully, forthright, and expeditiously.
I love it. Here we go, guys. We're going to start off with a terrible fan take, introducing your favorite Kenyan accent. Here we go.
Terrible fan takes on Twitter/X.
Oh boy, here we go. And this is from our dear friends at the Boxing Voice. And this is featuring one of your dear friends, Brian McIntyre, one of the best trainers in boxing. And he let someone have it for a terrible fan take. Just wanted to get your thoughts on this, my friend.
You have a viral picture, classic picture with you and Keyshawn Davis and you in the back with the Cheeto. Have you ever seen that talk? Have we trying to get a Cheeto endorsement? Because that's an iconic picture. I would literally put that up in the
iconic. You hear this shit, bro, man? He said iconic.
This is why I really don't really fuck with motherfuckers. Unless I fuck with you. I don't know.
It was at this moment that he knew he fucked up.
You're a big guy. This is the new guy that's been on the scene, right? I mean, he just started with you, right? I mean, he been there for like what, 6 months to a year, right?
Yeah, I mean, he been doing his thing.
Yeah, yeah. This is why I'm just leave right there. You know, I seen the picture. Now, why would you ask me some dumb shit like that?
No, because nobody.
No. Listen. I don't take too kindly of like that, making fun of all that old bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Because it just don't sit well with me.
You have a.
And there it is. Now I'm going to ask you this, Rick. How do you mess with the boxing fans? Because most guys I talk to, they don't even want to deal with it, and they can't stand the boxing fans on Twitter or any kind of social media page. How do you do it so seamlessly, I should say?
Well, for starters, I'm very thick-skinned, and you have to be, but I think you have to have a quick wit, and I believe I have that too. And also, I get a lot of business from Twitter, tons of business from Twitter. And I can't tell you exactly how much I do with Twitter, but let's put it this way to you. Probably per year, probably 40% of my business comes from social media.
Wow.
Pretty good. Yeah.
Because I'll tell you what, that makes sense, because if you don't have to be on Twitter and if it doesn't benefit you, why would you be? Because let's just face it, the boxing fans in the American market are deplorable.
Well, wait. To be perfectly frank, I look at this. Boxing is my business, and boxing and social media is my hobby. And I call myself a 24/7, 365 boxing lifer. So if I wasn't on social media, I wouldn't be that. So that's just part of it. Okay. And I'm accessible to people. I enjoy it. And sometimes I don't. I have to block them. But I only block them if they insult me. They call me an old geezer or I'm old timer. I don't know what I'm talking about. Just in case they ever want to give me an IQ test, any of these people, or a boxing IQ test, bring it on, motherfuckers. So
I tell you what, guys, because honestly, yeah, like our good friend, Buddy McGirt, James Buddy McGirt, Hall of Famer, who had a big victory with his man, Callum Smith, in, let's just face it, an early candidate for Fight of the Year. That was amazing. And he says to me, I don't even deal with social media anymore because there used to be a time when fans were respectful. They would come up to the events and they would get your autograph and they would be happy to see you, almost reverent. Now, it's almost like they just want to troll you and make fun of you and be disrespectful, and they don't care. It's a different mentality.
and it's going to get worse with this AL. It's going to get worse with that. That's going to even be worse. So
Oh,
you know
geez.
they're going to fake a conversation like they were actually talking to me. Let's say myself when I was. You know they just draw it up on that artificial intelligence. So we're facing some scary shit here going forward. But let me just say one thing about the Bomac situation. First of all, you don't invite a guy on the show and then try to run him down and insult him. That was wrong.
Indeed. Yep.
That was wrong. I love Bomac. I think
Yep.
he's phenomenal for boxing. I think he's a
Yep.
fabulous, great trainer, a
Yep.
great person,
Mm-hmm.
and he's got a great personality. He's got an infectious smile, and there's nothing about Bomac I don't like. My kind of
Mm-hmm.
guy. And I give guys that I really like, that are quality guys, one nice compliment. This is what it is. If I lived in the same town as Bomac, I'd take him to lunch and buy him lunch at least once a week. Okay, at least once a week. That's how I feel about Bomac. Great guy, and I have no negativity towards the guy, and nobody else should either. He took all that bullshit in stride with Earl Spence and Derek James getting insulted about his weight and all that kind of stuff, and ridiculous. It was no place for it. And then after the fight, he made it. He was made to look like a hero, and he was. Okay, and he's a great trainer. His track record, besides Terrence Crawford, says so. Okay, and it's not like Virgil Hunter, where he's a one pony wonder with Andre Ward. This guy rebuilt Jamal Herring.
Yeah.
This guy just made Keyshawn Davis a champ of his 13th or 14th fight. This
Indeed.
guy's he's got Lester Martinez, top super middleweight contender. He's got a
Indeed.
lot of undefeated top fighters, and Bomac's going to be around for years to come. He's a great guy. He's great for the sport, and you will never hear me. I told Bomac himself at a conversation, if you ever hear that I badmouth you in any way, you could mark that off as bullshit coming from the person that said it, because I would never badmouth. I love the guy. I think he's great. Can't beat it.
So what you're saying, Rick, is that if we lived in the same city, you'd make me buy lunch once a week.
Nah, you'd be as much as you eat, Joe, you'd be limited to once a month.
Touche, brother. So, guys, let's get started with this. My favorite segment on the show.
Maybe, just maybe, it's time for Rick Glaser's Twitter Watch. Bing!
And this was just a few minutes ago, about 30 minutes ago. You said, on the surface, Tim Tszyu fighting Joey Spencer. Looks like a gross mismatch being shown on Amazon Prime in the U.S., but Tim
Hello?
Ah, Chingo. Well done. Let's turn this on. Oh, shoot. Well done. All
Hello?
right.
Yeah.
You hear me now, brother?
I don't know what happened to you.
No, I don't know what happened either, brother. Here we go, though. We're going to read it again. On the service, Tim Tszyu fighting Joey Spencer looks like a gross mismatch being shown on Amazon Prime. But after his latest 2 wars that were losses, the latest being a stoppage loss, who knows what Tim Tszyu has left? Tim could be totally shot. It's also called Gonzo. Let's hope not for Tim's sake. If Tszyu is 50% of what he was, this fight's a joke. Joey Spencer gets destroyed. Look, I actually like this matchup for Tim Tszyu coming back in Australia. So, Rick, why? What are they building up towards? They're just trying to rebuild their franchise in Australia. And why did he want to fight so badly in the American market to begin with?
I think the Glenn Jennings, the manager, and the Rose brothers, between not getting that rematch clause when they fought Fondora and all these decisions they've made, including partnering up with PBC, they're a fucking joke. All these decisions they've made since in the last few years since they teamed up with PBC, come up with one good critical decision that they made correct. I can't think of one. Can you? Thank you.
No, it's
Thank
been
you.
horrendous. And you would think that someone on his level would have put together a more, proficient and experienced team. Because, I mean, even when you look at his corner in that Fundora debacle, when he had that terrible head split, they should have thrown in the towel or said he couldn't see, and they would have retained that title. Yeah, and he would have never been going through this. Honestly, it's So
and then no rematch clause. Then they go fight a puncher in his next fight. I mean, what are they thinking?
Yeah. Well, I
Sad.
tell you what, while we're on this topic, right? While we're on this topic, what did you think of Virgil Ortiz putting on a show and beating the hell out of the body of Israel Madrimov? And what's next for Virgil Ortiz Jr.? Because I can't imagine a lot of guys wanting to step in the ring with him at this time. Should we look forward to a rematch with W.A.W later this year?
I don't know about the rematch with W.A.W. In-house, Golden Boy has Charles Conwell, which will be a sensational fight, the undefeated U.S. Olympian, who's a puncher himself.
Yep.
That's a great fight. This is what really impressed me about Virgil Ortiz. 3 things. In the W.A.W fight, he showed 0 ring IQ, like real low.
Mm-hmm.
In this fight, he showed ring IQ like a ring general would. It was like 2 different people. I'm going to tell you something interesting. I never thought he had a bad chin, and he was knocked down twice in that fight. I don't think he has a bad chin. I just think he has no regard for the other fighter, and he showed a low ring IQ. I think that he realized that he's not infallible, and he had to pick his whole game up, and he picked it up. And it started with the ring IQ. It really was. It went from horrible to great. There was no fight in between. It was fascinating because I think ring IQ is so important. Like if you ask me who the smartest fighters in the world are in the ring, okay, and I'm not saying one's better than the other as far as brain power goes, but you've got Usyk, you've got Terrence Crawford, you've got Bam Rodriguez, you've got Oscar Collazo, and And those are the cream of the ring IQ. I think that Shakur has a ring IQ high, but he's a step behind because for him to get off, for him to ploy his ring IQs, he can't punch at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay, so those other guys are punching at the same time. What do
Well,
I think?
you have to put Beevil in that same category as well
Yeah,
after this.
yes. Bevol's in that same, and I tell you what, but Turbiev's in that same category. You want to know the truth, even though he lost, right? Okay, but Virgil went from I never seen a guy raise his game up and the IQ area is so high. It was like his brain was on steroids. Okay, I mean, it was fascinating.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
tell you what, I spoke with Thomas Triber, who we're going to get on the show tomorrow, but he actually stated that he was most impressed with Virgil Ortiz's performance because he wasn't very familiar with him because he works with Frank Warren and
right,
Riyadh Season exclusively.
right.
And that was his first experience seeing Virgil Ortiz live. And he was sitting next to everyone from the DAZN booth, right at ringside, because he's the one who announced that fight. And he said he felt so bad for Ilzdrel Madrimov. He said you could feel the thud and the torque of those body shots from ringside.
Well, let me put it this way to you and end it this way. I was very, very, very impressed with Virgil Ortiz all the way around. Like not only the brain power, the body shots, his defense was much better than the Bochuk fight, and I think Israel Madrimov is a better fighter than Bochuk.
Yeah.
So
yeah, well, it's styles make fights,
because this is why I look at it. Israel Madrimov would have never lost to Brandon Adams, and Bochuk lost to Brandon Adams. So there's part of your answer right there.
Yeah, well, once again, man, is some guys just peak at the right time, and right now, I can't imagine this version of Boachuk, as strong as he's looked in his last 3 fights. Can't imagine him losing to Brandon Adams now.
No,
but we'll see. We'll see, guys. Look, sky's the limit, and I think Oscar De La Hoya was very, very happy on Saturday night. So
yes,
put
he
your
was.
matchmaking cap on. What would the next assignment if you were matchmaker for Golden Boy Promotions?
Unless he becomes WBC champion, and I don't know. It depends. There's Conwell out there who's in house, a sensational fight.
Yep.
I don't think Virgil Ortiz could be in a bad fight right now.
Nope.
Just one of those kind of guys. He just is. Like Holyfield was never in a bad fight.
Yep.
You can't. Some fighters just can't be in a bad fight. He's one of those kind of guys.
So do you think, like Holyfield, do you think he fights up and down to his level of competition at times?
I can't just go off the Bochuk fight up one fight.
Indeed. So I tell you what, guys, but congratulations to Golden Boy Promotions and Virgil Ortiz Jr. He had a very eye-opening performance and really proved everyone wrong who was really down on him after the Boachuk performance. But I'll tell you what, let's move on, guys, to Twitter Watch with Rick Glaser. You stated this earlier today. Wow, in the last couple days, 2 top-ranked fighters lost, Turki to Bevel, and earlier today, Japan top ranks Jason Maloney lost a hard-fought decision. No TV streaming deal in place yet after the ESPN deal ends on July 26th. And now their fighters are losing? Could the unthinkable happen? TR fighters getting used to, or like PBC fighters as cannon fodder. Sounds like boxing justice could be upon us. Rick, what's going on? Is it because Bob Arum is not, well, the federal head any longer?
You know what? I think there's guys that know boxing over there, but they're not giving them enough say so in the way things are, and there's people making decisions that aren't boxing guys. They're executives, and they don't understand certain parts of the game.
Yeah, that's the only thing that makes sense. And look, let's just face it, if Bob were 20 years younger, this wouldn't be happening, would it?
No, it didn't happen 20 years ago, for instance.
Yeah, guys, look, and so what does the future hold for Top Rank Inc.?
Don't know. It's a mystery right now. Let's see if they come up with this TV or streaming deal that pays millions of dollars, and let's see what happens.
So
Right now,
they're not locked in with DAZN?
not yet. Nope.
Wow. Wow. Well, what are the chances of them actually striking a deal with Netflix?
0. And I
Wow.
said that. You can quote me on that. 0.
It sounds like do you smell that, Rick? That smells like an article, brother. Would you care to elaborate?
No.
Yeah. Well, there goes my article, brother. And there it goes. And this is a good one. This was on, I guess, right after the fight. You stated this, I think it was yesterday. You said Israel Madrimov now caught in no man's land. The luster is off with 2 losses in a row. He's too good to use as an opponent versus most contenders. Has an ugly, unappealing style, which was dirty as all get out last Saturday. I added that in. Plus, his promoter, Eddie Hearn, will probably cut him loose, as Eddie isn't going to build a guy back up that can't sell tickets and that no one wants to fight. That's boxing. You're right on the money with this, Rick. Where does he go? What do you do if you're Eddie Hearn?
I mean, somebody he either got to move up the middleweight and start over, and have Eddie give him a couple wins. But he's 10-2 now. He's no longer 10-0, and the luster is definitely off. And who wants to watch him? Doesn't have a great personality. Hardly speaks any English. Tough sell.
So are you buying any of this nonsense that he was stating? And look, at his defense, I heard a lot of people came down with the flu and were sick during Riyadh season, but they didn't want to say anything because they saw how strict the BBBFC was. But are you buying this sick excuse nonsense?
I don't think he was sick. He would have said, if a guy's sick, they're going to announce it before the fight. He's sick, but he's fighting despite him being sick. He's a brave warrior, not making an excuse after the fact.
Yeah, there it is. And we're going to jump. I did want to go over the Cuellar and Junto Nakatani. First of all, we're not going to read that tweet, but your thoughts on Junto Nakatani and is he the guy that can give Naoya Inoue a run for his money at 22?
I don't know how much stronger he'll be at 22 than he is 18. I don't know how much he's draining himself to get down to 18, so it's tough to say. But if he's draining himself drastically, he will be a strong competitor at 122 to Inoue's crown as undisputed 122-pound world champion. If he can make the 18 without killing himself, it's going to be iffy. He's a good fighter. He's tall. He's rangy. But Inoue's just a different animal. He's faster. He's so much more powerful with one punch. And Cuellar was nothing. Cuellar was so he had the deer in the headlights routine today.
Yeah,
he quit.
Yeah,
he quit.
Yeah, he looked like he was. Yeah, he mentally checked out after he saw the difference in levels. He got his ass smoked like a cheap cigar. Let's just be honest, guys. And here's the final. Well, we'll try to squeeze in a couple more. This is what you had to say. And this was on the 23rd at 11:37 a.m. You said this. Just keep in mind that $4 million USD was the lure for Martin Bacoli to take that fight with Joseph Parker on 2 days' notice. After paying everyone, probably ended up with $2.5 million in hand. A comeback fight on a Riyadh season show. Now you know. Do you think that's the only reason why Spencer Brown and Andy Lee agreed for that last-minute assignment? Because they knew Martin McCauley was going to be in terrible fight shape.
Correct.
Did
Mhm.
you anticipate that?
Did what?
He looked like Black Santa Claus.
Well, I was told he was training, but not in a training camp. It didn't even look like he was training. That was pretty embarrassing. I mean, he looked like 10 pounds of shit in a 2-pound bag.
Oh, Chingao. Now that's an article right there. No, I'm kidding. I wouldn't do that to you, my friend. But that's a good one, though. I tell you what, though. Martin McCauley. Yeah. Now, talk about that. You've seen this. That's why these guys kill themselves to get in camp, to get in the best shape possible, because it genuinely affects your recovery time.
Right.
And your ability to
I believe, I know it was high on the forehead, and people are going to say, well, how would that have helped his equilibrium? He would have had the legs under him if he was in camp training and doing all the things he's supposed to do. He didn't have any legs because he was in no shape and he was grossly overweight. Simple.
So this is what my brother Thomas Schreiber, our mutual friend, that's what he had to say. And I'm going to embarrass him about this tomorrow when he comes on. He said this, Joe, that was bullshit. I almost spit my tea out when Michael Buffer announced him as only 318. He looks like two of me. I weigh 186 right now, brother. And he looked at least 350, 360. Your thoughts? Did you think that was his accurate weight, or did he look like he was 350? Because I think
No, no. Everybody said he weighed 315. There were plenty of people there. Everybody said so. He just looked terrible. That's what it was.
Yeah, he looked like shite, guys. Let's last tweet, and this is going to be one I'd like you to speak on. R.I.P. Rest in peace, Greg Hagen, two-time world boxing champion, TV regular from the 80s, passed away yesterday in Tacoma area from cancer. Was a very exciting 135, 140 pounder. I did business with him once, and he fought Tony Lopez in June of 1994 at the MGM Grand. Greg Hagen was a real character. Rest in peace. Yeah, famous for calling out Chavez and getting his ass whooped on live TV. What do you remember him most? And obviously those awards with Tony the Tiger Lopez, James Gogie's fighter. Yeah, they were so memorable.
Well, it's he called Chavez's opponents nothing but Tijuana taxi drivers, and after he got destroyed, after he got run out of the arena, there was 105,000 people there, and he said, and Chavez says, well, he says, now you're another Tijuana cab driver.
I tell you what, I was told that people were throwing bottles of piss at him as he was walking out of the arena.
Unreal.
Yeah, I tell you what. But how big was that crowd for that Chavez fight? Do you remember?
105,000, if I remember correctly. It was in a soccer stadium. Hello?
Aye.
Yep. Okay, I heard you.
Okay, very good. Will we ever see that kind of crowd again in the American market?
Well, that was in Mexico, so we won't see it in America.
Oh, the American market.
No, it's just no. Mm-mm.
Well,
the only way you see 105,000 people is when USC plays Notre Dame in a meaningful football game.
Oh, Chingao. Well, I tell you what, here's our topic du jour. Very quickly before you leave. Should Tank Davis make a deal with Turki El Sheikh to fight either Keyshawn or Shakur before this pay-per-view flops on Saturday?
No, you just go through the pay-per-view and let it flop, and then go beg for mercy.
Yeah, but he's not going to be able to demand nearly as much, Big Rick. You know this.
Yeah, he will because Keyshawn and Tank are a huge fight, and Shakur and Tank are a huge fight. He's fighting a guy that it's an outbet fight, and that's why it's not selling. Remember something: he's not fighting Ryan Garcia, which drew a lot of people. If he fought Shakur or he fought what's his name, Shakur or Keyshawn, it would do big crowd. Now it would never do what Ryan did because Ryan's Ryan, but it still do very well.
So who do you like? Who do you like to get this fight against Tank Davis? Would you prefer Keyshawn Davis or Shakur
No, I
Stevens?
would prefer the first time out of the box. I would prefer Shakur because he's been a 3 division champion. He's in his prime. The other kid's building still, even though he's a world champ. He's on the way up as a world champ, where Keyshawn is already there, and I think it's a better fight right now. I think both guys actually beat him, but I'd rather see Shakur get the fight first.
Very quickly, brother, do you think too many fans are making too much about the Turki Al-Sheikh Hamza Shiraz debacle in which he
Yeah,
goes and tells him
there
2
was
points
no
down?
listen. The guy's doing so many great things. He just came into boxing. He doesn't even know the rules. The guy, come on, he didn't know that. And a lot of guys know the rules. They get excited. I
And
mean, just
look,
the way it is. It's
and
just
also
not
let's face it, it's WBC. How many times have they had open scoring in WBC fights?
exactly.
Yeah, I think
Exactly.
fans once again are just making too big of a deal. Rick, your parting shots for our listening audience, sir.
Yeah, nothing really. If you want to follow me, anybody wants to follow me on Twitter, I'm at Real Rick Glaser 1. I'm a verified account, and come on aboard.
God bless you, Rick. Thank you for once again the fastest 30 minutes in boxing, in internet boxing. I tell you what, it always flies by. Thank you, Big Rick. We love you, brother.
Thanks.
I'll tell you what, guys, that was Big Rick Glaser. I'll tell you what, I'm going to drop the link, guys. I'm going to be on for another 30 minutes if you guys would like to chop it up with me. As we didn't even get over, gosh, that 30 minutes just seems to fly by. Guys, hold on. Yeah, click the link, brother. Chop it up with me, man. You're very insightful. A lot more insightful than brother Dominic here, man. Yeah, just jiving, Dominic. I want to give a big shout out to my brother Alberto. I'm sorry, man. I didn't even see this. My apologies. I was just trying to squeeze in as much as I possibly could with the 30 minutes we had with Big Rick. And I tell you what, it's good to see you, my brother in Christ. I tell you what, T. Sanders, Taco Bell. No, look, guys. I like to do my show on my patio, and right now it's only a very beautiful, not a cloud in the sky, 75 degrees in San Antonio. So yeah, I'd be a fool to try and do it inside. So that's why, guys. I absolutely love doing the show on the patio, and there it is. And yeah, you know what? Maybe I need to switch. Maybe I need to switch, guys. Toby, good to see you, my friend. Glad you're here, my friend. Tell you what, guys, if you guys want to chop it up with me, click the link. Los, good to see you, my friend. And I'm sorry, guys, I completely forgot to ask him about the Clarissa Shields lawsuit. Jump tube. I wish I missed, brother. My apologies. We had so much ground to cover. I didn't even get to ask him about Zhilei Zhang and Agit Kabayel. I'll tell you what, guys. Agit Kabayel looked like an absolute beast. And you're here to make me eat crow, aren't you, my friend? Woo! How you doing, Eunice?
Salute, salute everyone in the chat, and thank you for having me here, Joseph. Yeah, man, feeling great.
What did you think of the entire card overall, my friend? Did it live up to your expectations?
Yeah, absolutely. I got a little surprised by Bakole, but not as
okay,
much.
So now I get to tell you, I told you, brother, I told you that Martin Bacoli, and the only reason why they took on this assignment, because it was absolute, he was going to be in absolute dog shit shape. And
I agree.
there it is.
I got a little hyped up with him.
Go ahead.
I got a little hyped up with Bacoli.
Yeah, because of how he looked against Jared Anderson. And I said, look, guys, if he looks the way he did, I saw one video of him just entering camp working the heavy bag, and I'm like, holy shit. Yeah, he looked like he was at least 340, 350 pounds. I don't buy that 315 nonsense.
No.
He looks huge.
Now, should we give him the pass?
Go ahead.
Should we give him the pass to Bacoli?
Of course you should. And honestly, but against W.A.W, if he was watching that, he's going to try to make him prove that he's in shape, and he's going to go right after him. In my opinion, W.A.W with that big right hand. And look, if he comes in under, like he did against Jared Anderson, 292, if he comes in looking like that, I think he wipes up the floor with W.A.W. But if he comes in over 300 pounds, again, look out. I think there's a chance for that upset with that big right hand, someone who actually punches a lot harder than Joseph Parker. He needs to get into proper fight shape, guys. This is why they kill themselves in a 9-week grueling camp, right? 8 to 10 week grueling camp. So they can recover quickly when they get hurt. They can take better shots. Their timing, their reflexes, everything is better. If Joseph Parker, when he saw that he could hit him with that straight right hand and he wasn't moving, he wasn't getting out of the way. Yeah, it emboldened Joseph Parker. And he's like, man, I can beat this guy up. And he went right after him, and it was all she wrote.
Yeah, that was it. I was surprised that he went down so fast. I didn't expect him to make much in the fight.
Because he was in such terrible shape, he couldn't recover.
Yeah. Sometimes when you are too hyped up on a fighter, when you know minutes before the fight, you start to realize, like, man, this guy is just getting out of the plane. He probably didn't sleep at all, and he might lose.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, look, man, this is he deserves a pass though for this, and he saved a great card. And look, everyone got to see a knockout, win-win, right? At his expense, and Lord says, Joe, have you seen a KO like that before on the top of the head? I've seen one on the side, on the ear. And usually if you're a fighter, you want to avoid hitting someone on the crown because you'll easily break your hand. That's a big no-no, and you don't try to do that. But like I said, Martin Bacoli couldn't get out of the way of anything. And so he tried to get out of the way. He tried to duck. And I tell you what, Joseph Parker is really fortunate that he didn't break his hand and hit the crown of his head flush, because that would have broken several bones in his hand, even with the wrap.
That's right. But the higher you hit the head, there's more probabilities of getting an injury.
Yeah, I've never seen one quite like that, though, Los. I'll be honest, brother. I've never seen one bouncing off the top of his head. But yeah, we see why, though, you get into great shape. You get into Spartan shape. Because, yeah, he couldn't recover. He tried to get up, and he was walking on feathers. He was walking on stilts. And, yeah, it was embarrassing. But, hey, that's what happens, though, when you don't take care of yourself and live the Spartan lifestyle and balloon up after you make a healthy payday. Guys, this is 24/7. You have to live that life if you want to be able to compete at the elite level. I promise you this, Caballel is already in the gym today. Guarantee it. Dominic, look, in my opinion, Ajit Caballel, you know what? There are a lot of impressive victories, though. Guys, why are we sleeping on Dimitri Bevil's beautiful exhibition of Boxing 101, being the ring general, using his footwork as the foundation of his defense, sitting down on his shots when he was in the pocket, moving in and out of it like a needle? That was a great fight. And let's just be clear, making the adjustment in the second half of the fight, because it looked like after round 6, he had started to give the fight to Beterbiev. It looked like he was starting to let the fight slip away from him. And then he makes the adjustment, moving in and out of range, throwing hard combinations, stepping around Beterbiev, trying to keep the action in the center of the ring as much as possible. Beautiful exhibition of ring generalship. I can't think of any performances that were better than Bevil's. Your thoughts, Udis, on who had the performance of the night?
Man, for me, Bivol was like the Godfather too. That was just beautiful, man.
The Godfather too. I love it, man. So let me ask you very quickly. I'm a big movie guy. What is your favorite? What is your favorite Godfather?
Very difficult for me between the first one and the second one. Man, that's a very tough question right there.
In my opinion, nothing gets better than the first Godfather. That's the one that started everything. That was the original. And guys, if you haven't seen on Paramount Plus, go check out the series The Offer. And it's
that was beautiful, man.
Isn't that amazing? Yeah, Miles Teller, who also played Vinny Pazienza on Bleed for this. He did a great job as the head producer. Everyone did a fantastic job on that series. It was incredible. Hugo, let me see. Hold on. It says you. Oh, there it is. All right. There you are, brother. Welcome to the program, sir.
What's up, Joe? Damn, I got in quick. I thought my mic was blocked for some reason on my settings. How's it going?
No, you're good now, brother. Your thoughts on this past Saturday night's card? I should say Saturday day.
So the card, obviously, I skipped the Shakur fight. Great win for Beeble. Yeah, I mean, sorry, the guy he went 9 rounds with an electrician. You know, it's hard to. You know, I can respect certain aspects of his boxing, his display. Obviously, he has a great jab. He always has had a great job, but I just can't take the guy serious. And then I saw the interviews after and the delusion, and I understand, you know, he has to believe in himself, but I mean, it just added insult to injury, man. I just, you know, he broke his hands and his hands got damaged, and then he says, I don't know, he just it was ridiculous. But I was for sure. I enjoyed Beeble's performance. You know, I actually want to see him start finishing people, but it was a great display. I think he had to do exactly what he did. Not let Beterbiev get off. You know, even then, Beterbiev always finds a way to tag you with something. So, man, it was a great performance by Beeble, though. You know, really. He's good for the sport. I mean, obviously, aside from his finishing ability, I do enjoy everything else that he shows in the ring. He's just and then the mindset, you know, on top of that, and then outside of the ring, you always have great interviews and great mindset. He always displays the professionalism. I can't do nothing else but admire that. So,
yeah, I thought it was very classy. His response, it wasn't overtly braggadocious. Him with the victory, it was very, very humble in his mannerisms. And look, I will say this, and this is a very unpopular take. Obviously, these two guys match up very, very well together. Always a compelling fight. Always going to be very, very close and competitive, a la Pacquiao Marquez. Not as much action, but, you know, it's on that level. And it's that competitive. But with that said, I don't know if I want to see a third one, guys. There's way too many matchups that I would like to see. Guys, wouldn't you much rather see Bivol fight Benavidez? Come on now. You first, brother.
Well, if the third fight is gonna be like this, of course I wanna see it. And I don't know. I don't really know if Benavides has what it takes to beat this version of
There's
people.
only one way to find out. That's my point. It's
Well,
like,
it's
come
such a
on, man.
high
Let's
level.
see it.
It is such a high level. By the way, where the hell did Benavides go? He was supposed to be there after the fight, right?
Yeah, well, he left because he's like, fuck, they're already talking about a rubber match. Why am I even here then? Well, I'll tell you why you were there. You should have been trying to lobby for a fight with Callum Smith then. Boy, I tell you what, Callum Smith is a warrior. I don't care what anyone says. Both of those guys, Joshua W.A.W. and Callum Smith, that was one hell of a fight. You don't see fights like that very, very often at 175 pounds. That was all balls, brother. Hugo, would you like to see Benavides take on Callum Smith at 75 if we still have Callum Smith left after that beating?
Say again, you could offer me a bit. Sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry, brother. Would you like to see Benavides take on Callum Smith if he didn't leave his soul in the ring that night?
Yeah, for sure. I think even the Callum Smith fight that surprised me. It was a good fight. I I never I never thought Callum Smith was like lacking or undisciplined in any way, but he for sure showed a lot in the ring, so I greatly appreciated that. But yeah, I would like to see that matchup if possible. Ideally, as you mentioned with B-Ball, hopefully it's a quick turnaround and we see all those fights because I don't necessarily mind in what order, but Benavides might have to wait maybe another year, and I think that's fine. But as long as those quick turnaround, like he said, if Bebo ideally wants to fight Beterbiev, Benavides, Canelo, that's good. It's great. Let's see all the matchups.
Yeah, you know what, man? Let it happen. A round robin with David Morrell Jr., Joshua Buatsi, Anthony Yard. I'd love to see all of them, guys.
Yeah, sounds kick ass.
I want to see all of them fight. And
Yeah.
look, did you see any slippage from the bow-legged old man, Arthur Beterbiev?
No, I think he did okay. I think he didn't. How do you say when the guy is already old?
See, that's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid because look, man. You know what? How many times are you going to be able to go back to the well like this? In my opinion, I think honestly, a fight against Benavides would mean a lot more at this juncture. Look, we've already seen two all-time greats in their prime. I don't want to see a rubber match because Beterbiev's only going to start his dissension downward. I want to see Bivol in his prime take on Benavides, seemingly in his prime. That to me is a much better fight. Maybe I'm smoking crack. I don't know. Yudas, your thoughts on that, brother? And how do you think that matchup plays out? Do you think the Benavides footwork will fail him against, a Bivol? Well, let's just face it. He put on a masterclass in the second half of that fight.
Of course, it will. It will fail him, and I just don't think he's ready. I just don't. I just think he hasn't done enough in 175, and he always looks like he doesn't want to be there, like he doesn't want to fight in this weight class.
Well, I will say this. Hold on, Dominic, brother, get your ass on the panel, man. It's about time. Come on, dude. We're all friends here, brother. You guys are my extended family in the chat. Get your ass on the panel, please. You have my cordial invitation. Yeah. Anyway, man, I tell you what, honestly, so where does Benavides go from here? Does he move up to cruiserweight to fight Zurdo Ramirez later this year?
Well, I don't really know because you don't see Benavides saying much, but you can see his father on Instagram saying that he would like to fight Jake Paul instead of fighting Canelo. Now that
Oh,
those
Ching now,
negotiations
don't
fell
say
down.
that, dude. Don't say that.
Yeah,
Dude,
and
that is just disgraceful. Disgraceful. And let me say hello to my dear friend, Big Luke. And you know better than that, my friend, my brother in Christ, Big Luke. Good to see you, my friend. Love you, brother. And also Jose Varela. Good to see you, brother. Thank you for being here, my friend. Dominic also says David Benavidez versus Callum Smith for the interim undisputed champ. Dude, come on. I'm tired of seeing the baby belts on the line. What the hell does that even mean? I would love to see that fight. In my opinion, David Benavidez versus Callum Smith. That's going to be another war. And I don't know how much this took out of Callum Smith. Oogle, if your buddy McGirt and his handlers, do you give Callum Smith at least 6 months off to let his body fully heal after that beating he took?
Yeah, I think that'd be the smarter choice. I think it could line up either way with Benavides' schedule. Anyways, I don't know what else he has going on. So, but I would take my chance though. If it was maybe 4 months, and let's say in 4 months they told him, "Hey, come in, fight Benavides." I mean, that's the fight to make, man. It would be a great fight for both great style matchups, interesting, dynamics outside the ring possibly. It could be a good fight.
Okay, JumpTube says this PBC won't let David mandate anybody because of TV rights. Well, see, that's coming to a screeching halt.
But there are fighters
PBC,
from PBC already fighting.
he doesn't have any TV dates. PBC doesn't have any more TV dates. I think without Canelo, their deal is all but done. Expect only a handful of TV dates. And look, let's just face it. Al Heyman does not have the coin to fund a big money fight opposite Keyshawn Davis or Shakur Stevenson. Where's he going to come up with the bread? Tank
Yeah.
is not the draw that Canelo is. And before we start talking about Tank Davis, right? Can we just state this, guys? Can we just get rid of the nonsensical narrative that Canelo fans are currently pushing right now, that they want to see Canelo get his ass whooped again by this version of Dimitri Bivol?
No, he will drop the soap in the bathroom with his wall, man.
Oh, I tell you what, Hugo, we know how you feel about Canelo. Can we just squash this narrative right now, brother?
Yeah, it's a pointless matchup. As much as I would like to see Canelo get the dog shit beat out of him, yeah, it's no point. I mean, it was a clear shutout. In every aspect of boxing. I think these guys are. I don't know. They just want to see this guy fight anybody. But I don't know. Honestly, I don't know half the time what they think, and even when they have some logical disposition to the way they're thinking, it's still always, oh, I just want to see what Daddy Canelo does, and I don't know, man. It's just weird, man. I don't know, but yeah, looking at it, it would just be good for Bevo because in that sense, he beats him again, hopefully more decisively. That's mostly what I want to see out of Bevo. Hopefully he can get better finishing ability or develop that because I understand that's the way he fights. He's very Soviet in his style. Everything goes back to that, but it'd be cool to see. But nah, yeah, it's a waste of time, man. Honestly, if they want to fight, I guess the fight will happen. But
In
I'm
my
not.
opinion, the only way Canelo agrees to a rematch with Dimitri Bivol is if Bivol kills himself to make 168 pounds and fights him down there.
Yeah, I think that would be the move. Honestly, that's what I was thinking too. I think if he does take it, it's gonna be that.
Dude, this is how gay these Canelo fans are, right? And I say that quite literally. This is how gay they are. They're actually chalking up a Bivol victory as a victory for Canelo Alvarez as well.
Yeah, it's
What
crazy.
kind of jock riding bullshit is that?
I don't know.
You make sense of this?
What do you mean? You mean that because Bivol won, Canelo won?
That's how they're acting.
Come on, man.
Can you say you're gay without actually saying you're gay?
Yeah, man, that's just crazy.
Yeah, those are some
Those guys
flag waving hotos right there, brother.
need
Yes,
to
I
quit on
said it.
crack.
I said it. And the link is right there. Anyone who disagrees with me can speak their piece. And we always roll out the red carpet for anyone, even if you're gay. That's fine. Oh, and Dominic throwing in the dig also. Canelo versus Skull, fight of the century. Oh, jeez, dude. William Skull. I tell you what, he'd better not look like shit against William Skull.
Yeah.
Well,
Because
he's been
not
having
his
trouble.
prime.
He's been having some kind of trouble with every 168 he fights.
Oh,
He couldn't,
chinged out, man.
he couldn't get Ryder out of there, and Berlanga. Who was the other 168?
Jaime Munguia.
Munguia, I don't
On
consider
Ryder.
him. Yeah, Ryder. But I don't consider Munguia 168 completely because
Yeah,
that
he
was
started his career
maybe
at 47. Yeah.
that was maybe his first fight with Canelo actually at 168.
Yeah, look, guys, honestly, Canelo, let's just be honest, guys. He's not in his prime. If he fights Beevil at 75, he gets KTFO'd. Yeah, I said it. Look how much damage he's been taking in his last 3 or 4 fights.
Yeah.
You never used to see Canelo get touched up like this. Look how much incoming he took against John Ryder.
Yeah, Joe, that's what I've been saying too. And even when Munguia, there's so many. Trust me, I've been around the YouTube boxing community. I've been talking to these filth. I don't know I don't but and I even told him look, that he's even been tagged up by Ryder and Munguia, and his head had been snapped back. The only reason why you don't see this guy, he just has a chin on him, but he's been touched up. He's been fucked up too, man. And look at his face after the fact too. He's shown
guys,
more damage.
Yeah, there's a reason why he didn't fight Golovkin again for a 3rd time until he was old man Golovkin. Look, I'm sorry, guys. I don't look. Let's just face it. This is the real reason why he never wanted to fight Benavidez. Let's just be clear about that, because wasn't that by far the biggest money fight that he could have been a part of?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, it's open and shut, guys, and you can't make an argument otherwise, or else you're a jock-sniffing Canelo fanboy. That's it.
And I'll tell you something about this Canelo Benavidez fight. I don't even want to see this fight anymore since like a year ago that I realized that Canelo is not as competitive. It wouldn't be a competitive fight for Benavidez at 168. I don't even want to see that fight. It would be completely one-sided.
And how about all the clowns who are insisting that Crawford was a more impressive victory over Madrimov than Virgil Ortiz?
No, I don't think so. I think what Virgil did was beautiful.
Absolutely. I'm sorry, guys, but look, winning a points decision with not letting your hands go isn't very compelling for anyone.
No.
Dude, he beat him with boredom, in the immortal words of Evander Holyfield. Yeah, he beat him with boredom. Dude, that was a terrible showing for both men. And it was embarrassing to be getting paid Crawford $17 million for that kind of effort.
Damn.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
That's what's wrong with the fighters in the American market. And let's just be honest, guys. One last thing we're going to say about this. Floyd Schofield Jr., is he ever going to get this opportunity ever again, guys?
I don't really know.
Look, they show him in the hospital, and then today he puts a post on his Instagram, on his social media, of him already working out in the gym. Not a very smart move and not a very good look.
Yeah, you're right.
Especially when Shakur Stevenson told Eddie Hearn, now, look, this guy's going to pull out. He's not going to fight me. Yeah. Not a good look. And in my opinion, Golden Boy, they need to wash this hands with this kid. And not because of him, it's because of his dad. His dad's an asshole. His dad's a moron. And Dominic, you know this. His dad's a head case. He needs to give his dad the pink slip and go work with a real trainer and listen to his very knowledgeable manager, Mike Miller, the best attorney in boxing. Otherwise, what are you going to do with him? What are you going to do with him? Does anyone want to deal with that kind of head case? His dad? No.
Yeah.
So, guys, let's move on to the final topic of the evening. Should Tank Davis make a deal with Turki Al Sheikh before this pay-per-view to take on Shakur Stevenson? Because I'm sorry, I don't care what Rick Glaser says. I love Rick. He's a dear friend of mine, and he's has so much experience in this business. In my opinion, though, he's not going to be able to demand as much money when this pay-per-view does less than 75,000 purchases.
That's something I wanted to talk to you about, because the Barclays Center might sell less than that for a boxing match, right? I don't think he will sell out the arena. And I was checking out this fight between Conor Benn and this other dude, Eubank Jr. And they're going to fight in a stadium with a capacity of 63,000 people.
Yep, about 60,000. That's the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
That's what.
And yeah, I tell you what. And Thomas Thomas Triber, he just got the okay. He got the notification today. He's going to be one of the ring announcers as well for that event. And you remember he did the ring announcing for Tyson Fury versus Derek Chisora several years ago when that stadium first opened. He said that place is amazing. And it's going to be packed to the rafters with Conor Benn and Chris Eubank Jr. In my opinion, that's a shit fight, but it's right where it belongs, right there in the UK. Both guys have a huge fan base there. It's going to make a shit ton of money. But once again, it's like, I'm sick and tired, guys, of seeing these circus fights. Why do we want to see this? A guy who campaigns at 47 jumping up all the way to 68.
Well, I don't want to see that fight, but grabs my attention. My attention is that people in the UK, they support boxing no matter how bad the fights are.
Yeah, it must be nice, because that's not and dude, in Mexico it's the same way. In America, shoot. And dude, out of sight, out of mind. Look, I asked several friends. I'm like, hey, did you guys purchase this event on Saturday? They said just during the day. I had shit to do. I streamed it for free illegally on my phone. Just like, how do you get excited about a fight event that starts at 10 a.m. my time? And if you live on the West Coast, dude, you got to get up at 8 in the morning? I can't see anyone hosting fight parties at that time. That's a real problem, guys.
Yeah.
And Canelo's going to be fighting the biggest star in North America. He's going to be fighting Cinco de Mayo weekend in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. That's the state we're in, the American market, and I told everyone that this was going to happen. 3 or 4 years ago, I told everyone you have this to look forward to. As long as these mamons keep pricing themselves out, demanding millions for soft touches, and then fans continue stealing everything. This is what's good. This is what you're going to get. This is inevitable if something doesn't change. And guess what? Nothing changed, and everything now is going overseas. Now we're stuck with Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach. And have you seen this card, guys? Rayo Valenzuela. Does anyone give him a chance against the very hard-punching, terrible style matchup that is Gary Antoine Russell?
Yeah,
How many rounds do you think Rayo Valenzuela is going to be able to go with someone who cuts off the ring and closes the distance much better than Pitbull Cruz?
I see him really much like People Cruz, but more powerful, like more explosive. But I don't see many differences between Russell and People Cruz. Just that he's a bigger guy and punches harder. But what I saw with Puello is that Russell is a guy who chases his opponent. And there are some opportunities for the last version we saw from Rayo. He could win. I think there are some chances, and I want him to win because I want to see if he's made for this weight class for 140.
Hey, look, it's my brother, the Boxing Scholar. Guys, if you haven't already, please go subscribe to my brother, the Boxing Scholar. Great guy, very knowledgeable. And he says, is that a bad thing? People had a $20 pay-per-view undisputed. I wasn't disputing that. My point is, did it increase the number of pay-per-view purchases? No, it didn't, in my opinion. And I haven't heard anything about the numbers yet, but I will get them first. And I can guarantee you this, it didn't do over 60,000 purchases at a $25 price point. So all it's doing, lowering the price, is lowering the profit margin for DAZN and everyone involved. Because everyone is still stealing it. Look, the way these assholes think, it doesn't matter if it's 100 or 10.
Yeah,
they're going to steal it.
Yeah, but Joseph, and where do you think there are more people stealing these streams? And on this side, I mean, I don't think there are many people stealing it from the UK or in Arabia.
No, that's why I'm saying it's the American market. The American boxing fans, no offense to anyone in the chat, because you guys aren't like those assholes on social media. But all they do is complain about everything. Now, once again, the guys who were trying to rationalize why they shouldn't spend $25, you know what they said on social media? Man, why is this even on pay-per-view? There are no stars on this. Yeah, can you say you're a fag without saying you're a fag?
Yeah, man, this is like one of the best cards.
And now they're complaining, oh, dude, $80 for this? To see Alberto Puello versus Sandor Martin? You got to be kidding me. No way. So it's like, dude, they're consistently rationalizing why they shouldn't financially support their supposed favorite pastime. Now, I'm sorry. I just threw down my money for DirecTV to see my Cincinnati Reds in spring training. And I was happy to pay for the MLB extra inning package. Because, truth be known, that's my favorite pastime. I love my Cincinnati Reds. And because I'm not in the Cincinnati market, I can't see it on regular TV, so I have no choice. And guess what? I'm happy to pay that every single month for the next 4 months. And why? Because I'm a real fan. Can you even call these assholes real fans any longer in the American market?
No, there's no way.
Yeah.
I don't know what they are, because it's like, because they're not necessarily casuals, but at the same time, I don't know what it is, man. I don't know. That's why, for like, I get criticized a lot for the way I see boxing, right? Because I sometimes almost pick, like, I'm supposed to be picking, like, for example, I'm a Mexican, therefore I have to support the. But then I'm of the opinion, I live through principles, and if a guy's doing something wrong, I'm gonna call him out, right? So I'm in the weird spot where I get criticized anyways, but that's what I find it hard to believe, because at the end of the day, for me, I'm the fighters that I watch and that I enjoy watching. I'm gonna invest my money and my time, and more so my time, right? And that's why I see the fighters that I like watching, like Usyk, Inoue, Virgil Ortiz, Bam Rodriguez. I go on, like that. That's the way I see the sport, but I don't understand like why these people. Because they're the same people that bitch about me, like, oh, why are you picking this guy over this guy? Why are you picking that guy? Like, well, because I like watching them. And there's certain fighters even actively now that I know their names, but I don't give two shits about them. Like, I don't want to watch them. But that's why I see the sport the way I do. I try to vote with my dollar at the end of the day, ultimately. But I don't understand why they think this way or what makes them think this way. I don't know, man, but it's a weird thing. But the thing that a lot of these guys do have in common with each other, even though they're in separate sides of the street, they just it's they're being enabled and they're too lazy and they're not even really fans. So that's what I don't understand. Why? How are these people watching the sport but then not being in the sport? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't make any sense to me because I wouldn't waste my time watching another sport if I didn't care about them. I want to learn about the names. I don't care who's financing the thing. I don't care what channel. I just don't care about other sports. So it's a weird thing for me. I can't put my finger on it. What is that about? I just
No,
know that these guys are in there and they're casuals but not casuals. It's a weird, interesting dynamic there.
no. I'll say it. They're gay.
That
They're
too, yeah,
gay. They're not
absolutely.
real boxing fans. And once again, what people don't understand, and they're comparing this. Oh, dude, I'm not going to spend $85 to see this weekend because I remember 30 years ago paying only $49 to see De La Hoya versus Trinidad, and that was a real fight. That should have been a. Well, dude, look. I remember also spending 99 cents to get a double cheeseburger at McDonald's. Guys, those days are long gone. And there's no more Showtime. There's not going to be any more ESPN. There's no more boxing on HBO. I'm sorry, but the only way you're going to be able to see these fights are on pay-per-view. They're on pay-per-view now out of necessity. And you're still bitching about this. Guys, either you love the sport or you don't. Either you financially support the product or you don't. It's the same thing with music. What happened to music when piracy came out? When piracy took over the music business? Yeah, people started just illegally streaming the music. Thanks to Napster, it ruined the music business. Now people put out CDs and singles and records, basically just to promote their upcoming tour. And now we see guys touring well into their 70s. Iron Maiden is going to go on their 50th anniversary tour this summer.
Yeah, but that's something interesting you say because look at what Turkey is doing with boxing. I think he's lowering the price but gaining a lot of control on the sport. And I don't know if I don't know if you can compare it to oh man, what is this streaming platform? I forgot the green one.
Spotify.
That's right, Spotify. Right, you pay almost nothing, and every artist gets.
Yeah, but look, they get pennies. Now they don't pay great musicians like Iron Maiden or Boss Skaggs or Pete Townsend and the Who or Led Zeppelin. They pay them pennies, but yet they make enough money where they have the money to offer Joe Rogan $100 million contract. Something's wrong here, guys.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing. It destroyed music, and it's going to destroy boxing. You better hope that Turki al-Sheikh and the Saudi government want to still do this 10 years from now. Because what's going to happen to boxing if they pull out and decide, you know what? No, we don't have the money. The price of the oil barrel has dramatically decreased. And we're gonna cut funding for boxing. So then what? What happens?
I don't know. I think they spend more money into tennis, football, soccer, and Formula One. I don't think they are really like spending a big amount of money that really hurts their pockets.
Well, see, like Formula One, NASCAR, let's just stay with the American market though. NASCAR, NFL, NBA, MLB, they've got plenty of Fortune 500 sponsorship.
Yeah.
How about boxing? We don't get shit for sponsorship, and that's why no networks are interested. So what I'm saying, guys, it's entirely up to the fans now. And so what are we going to just sit there and watch it die? Well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to be much better off because the only way you're going to be able to see live boxing in America is buying a club ticket. Hey, that's what I do. So I'm going to be fine, but we're not going to see any more big events in the American market. Why? Why should we?
Yeah, but I think also like it is too late for American fans to realize and take action, you know.
I'll tell you what, man, in my opinion, guys, in my opinion, we should ride this train until the wheels fall off and just enjoy the fights that Turki Al-Sheikh is putting together as long as he can. Because I don't see this lasting forever. And I don't know what's going to happen with boxing after Turki Al-Sheikh pulls out his investment. Like, honestly, how long is he going to want to lose money?
Yeah.
So anyway, so let's go back to Tank Davis, guys, because we're running out of time. In my opinion, Tank Davis, his hold on, look at this. Los, brother, I'm in the music business. You're exaggerating, Joe. Music is still alive. Look. Unlike boxing, brother, how do these musicians make their money these days? Just open up your local calendar. Everyone is forced to tour all year round now. Do you remember back in the good old days when arena rock was huge, back in the 80s and the 90s? People tour. Your favorite musician didn't tour but once every 2 years. And he survived predominantly on album sales. That's how they made their money. But now, musical acts are forced to tour all year round, playing 4 or 5 nights a week. Guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but I can't see how a prize fighter could be in the ring more than 4 or 5 times a year. That's where I see boxing completely collapsing and being non-sustainable if piracy continues. And if we don't get sponsorship to put it on regular TV. So I'm like, look, guys, this is it. What's going to happen when Canelo retires?
That's an interesting one because we don't know what's going to happen at least on this side, on the US and in Mexico, right? Because there is not, I don't see how Gervonta Davis is going to be the next phase of boxing because he's kind of going down in popularity.
Yeah, I tell you what, man, this is a real problem, and we've known this on this channel because we're in this business and we've seen the road ahead, and it's not good for the American market. But I'm going to be doing commentary, and Thomas Schreiber's going to be there in San Antonio, Texas at the, I think it's going to be at La Cantera on May 10th. So, hey, buy a ticket. Come and see us. It's going to be club shows. It's going to be club shows, and let's hope Pro Box starts to pick up in popularity.
Do you think it's possible that American boxers become more like a commodity, like kind of journeyman to go to the UK and
look, everyone from America, they need to pack their bags and get used to fighting in other markets if they want to make any money. Because without sponsorship, without TV license and TV networks paying the licensing fee, where are they going to fight? Where are they going to make that kind of money? Especially if they're not ticket sellers.
Yeah.
And Tank Davis is going to find out in a very resounding manner that he's not nearly worth his price tag. Like, dude, once again, we're going to close it with this, guys. What is your prediction for this pay-per-view? Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach with Sandor Martin and Alberto Puello on the undercard. Why is that on a pay-per-view portion of a fight card? And how well do you see it selling in the American market?
Maybe close to 100. Maybe a little bit better than Benavides did. let's say 150. 150K.
150,000?
Ugo, how well do you see this performing, brother?
I don't see it performing well at all. I want to say, honestly, I want to say 60. I don't see it doing good, man. There's no buzz. They've clowned Lamont Roach for the last 7 months. Even I don't even like pay attention to social media, but that's been going on. And Tank's always talking shit and just saying stuff to keep himself relevant. That aside, this is a terrible matchup, man. Because look, as soon as this fight was announced and the delays and all that, the second I started to notice, at the very least, that the Tank fans started even complaining about this shit. I mean, it's gonna say a lot. I think it's gonna show in the numbers. I don't see it doing good at all. Even though I'm actually more a bit. You might find it hard to believe, but I'm more excited for the Sandor Martin Puello fight. It's at least, but it's for sure not PPV worthy. It should be in an undercard, but it's a good matchup. But yeah, man, I don't see it doing good.
Dude,
60.
stylistically, Sandor Martin versus Alberto Puello is going to make Jack Catterall versus Arnold Barbosa look like Gaddy Ward 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
That's how boring that's going to be, guys. And I think
Yeah.
Dominic has the beat here for once. 75,000 purchases. Just joshing you, Dominic. Thank you for being here, my friend. 75,000. I think that's being nice. I think that's being nice, guys. You're going to see the final nail in the coffin with Canelo making his exit from PBC. You're going to see the final nail in the coffin of PBC once and for all this Saturday.
Yeah.
Hang it up.
For sure.
Keith Thurman, sorry, buddy. Tim Zhu, sorry, buddy. Errol Spence Jr., have fun with retirement. Sebastian Fundora, you non-ticket selling fool.
Hey, by the way,
go ahead.
Should we start pushing this fight between Virgil Ortiz and Sebastian Fundora?
Why? They're both non-ticket sellers. Dude, even in Fort Worth, where he's from, Virgil Ortiz couldn't sell out my living room on a Saturday night. That's why that's why Golden Boy hasn't brought him back there since the Igas Kavalyaskis fight.
But who would you like to see Virgil fighting?
Virgil?
Yeah.
Honestly, the only fight I want him to fight at 54 is a rematch with Boachuk, Bakram Murtazaliev, or Terrence Crawford. I want to see him fight Terrence Crawford. In my opinion, he gives this version of Terrence Crawford everything he can handle.
Well, I don't really know if Crawford is even going to fight again after fighting Canelo.
No, he's not going to, because he demands way too much money. This is it for him. Mm-hmm. This is his last dance, last chance saloon. After this, he's going to make so much money. Who's going to, like it already, as it is, no promoters and no networks want to work with him because he demands too much money. He's a pain in the ass prima donna at the negotiating table, and he's not a draw.
Yeah.
Turki Al-Sheikh on his only event, Riyadh season event in the American market, lost over $15 million. And he paid Terrence Crawford $17 million to stink out the joint against Israel Madrimov. People were walking out of the stadium after Eminem performed.
Man, that's sad.
So that's what I'm saying, guys. The American market is in real shambles. So get used to staging your fight party at 10 a.m. in the morning. Get used to it. Because I'll tell you what, if Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney, can't believe I'm going to say this, but if they don't have a big hit, say goodbye to big-time boxing at night. Boxing after dark, that's going to be a thing of the past, guys.
Yeah.
Get used to watching it in the morning, during the day. I'm sorry, guys, I'm not a huge fan of day drinking.
Me neither.
I'm sorry, guys. So, hey, say goodbye to that. And all of you guys who wanted illegal streaming, yeah, this is what you get. This is what you get. You get wake up in the morning, brush your teeth, have your bacon and eggs, and get used to seeing big time boxing in Riyadh. This is what you get because you guys stole everything in America. Say goodbye to boxing after dark. And how many venues did you see show this spectacular card at a bar?
None.
How many bars did you see? None, because it's
I'm
during
at,
the day.
yeah, I'm in Northern California anyway. Yeah, but by that time, I think certain bars open a lot later in the day, like 10. But not nobody, man. They hardly even show in my neck of the woods even UFC fights,
But
and that's only like one or two that I've been able to catch.
No, Northern California that's UFC country now.
Yeah,
Like, dude,
but even then, they're not
I
showing no more.
work with several promoters in Northern California, and my job is to try and get sponsorship, right? And even trying to get sponsorship for club events there. They're like, well, we don't even show boxing at our bar. And I'm like, you're a bar and you don't show boxing. Oh, yeah, we show all the UFC events, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Paul. Good to see you, man. Been a long time. Welcome to the show, sir. And he said, boxing is the new Saturday morning cartoons. Yep. That's it. Dave and Buster's had it. Yes, Dave and Buster's. If I'm not going to purchase it, that's always my go-to. I love Dave and Buster's, guys. So support the venues that still show the prize fights because they're very few and far in between at this point. But guys, we're at the end of the road, almost 90 minutes in. Google will give you first your parting shots for our listening audience.
Do you want me to talk about anything specifically other than
anything that you'd like to get off your chest, brother? Any of your gripes? Any of your final thoughts on this Saturday or this coming up Saturday or this past Saturday?
No, yeah, for sure. Good fight for Virgil Ortiz. Great performance. It's a shame that he can't sell. I want to see the guy excel. I think he's at least entertaining. I think you're correct on what you said about the market. In terms of in America, I think we are just going to see a lot less fighters. I think that's going to be ultimately, if worst case scenario, we're going to see just way less fights. And it's a shame, at one point in time, I couldn't imagine if you were to tell me this 10 years ago, hey, because I grew up with boxing, that's I even remember Morales Barrera, like when I was young with my dad and shit. It was a good memory. I still hold that memory very dearly.
Good old 90s.
And like yeah, it was crazy. Like they're fucking kicking each other's ass, and I just couldn't really imagine the sport being in the space that it is now. It's crazy to think, but it is. I mean, these guys are gonna just they're hurting themselves in the long run. So it is what it is. I mean, I don't necessarily mind it because, like as I've said, I value my time and my money greatly. So I'm not really watching a lot of these guys anyways. I probably say I'm really only watching 30%. 35% of the fighters, and when I'm in with those guys. I watch them all the time, so I enjoy them. But anyways, yeah, good fight. Bivol, hopefully we'll see. I want to see a quick turnaround. I want to see more knockouts from Bivol if possible. I want to see him press everybody. Hopefully he can get all those fights in a quick turnaround. I think the Tank fight's going to do terrible. I think Tank can shoot himself in the foot. It's his fault, so I don't necessarily feel sorry for him. If he leaves, if this guy retires today or tomorrow, I honestly don't care. I'm kind of done with the guy. There's too much bullshit with him and the negotiations, and because if Crawford's acting, aside from I was gonna just add to that, like all the things you mentioned with Crawford.
Hold on, brother. Hold on, Ugo. I have to step away for a second, but keep talking, and I want you to sum up with this. Does Canelo retire after his 4-fight deal is done with Riyadh season?
Right. Well, yeah. To add to what you said about Crawford, on top of everything else, his interviews also are very annoying. That's why kind of after the Madrigal fight, the comments he said beforehand about that the audience doesn't know what they're watching, I honestly dropped him for my pound for pound. I only had him on there because of the accolades, but honestly, that whole mentality of him telling us what to watch and what we enjoy, I think that's complete bullshit. He can't tell everybody else that we're the guys paying the bill, you know, as mentioned before. So it's very upsetting, and I don't know what the fuck's Crawford doing either. But with the Canelo thing, lastly, I think so. I think that's he's already, if he's trying to fight Jake Paul now, he's already has one foot out the door. It seems like. I think he's only getting worser. He's not getting better. He refuses to even adapt with the abilities that he has in the ring. He refuses to make any serious adaptations on the fly. He's getting tagged up more. The damage doesn't show because he has a chin. He always had a chin. That's something I think he leverages effectively, which I obviously understand why you would. But I mostly see a generation from the guy, so it makes sense to me that he's just gonna take all these big money fights and dip out. So whatever, man. Good riddance. Say la vie. So
That's it.
I agree with that.
I tell you what, great job summing everything up, man, and great job tonight overall. Ugo, thank you, brother, for being on the program. Do this. Your party shots and your final thoughts. Anything you want to get off your chest with what we talked about. Your final thoughts on last Saturday as well as this Saturday night's money pit from PBC.
Well, I don't really know if I'm gonna make the effort of watching boxing this Saturday because I'm not really interested. Maybe because of Rayo and Puello, I might do the effort, but I don't really want to see that card. And about the now about that
dry, wouldn't you?
What?
You'd rather watch paint dry, wouldn't you?
Of course, I prefer to watch rugby or something.
Keep going.
About last Saturday, man, as I said before, I think that was like The Godfather 2, the whole card. That was just beautiful, man. How can you match that? And I can't wait to see better cards on that side. Unfortunately, the schedule, the time is not the best for us, but at least we're getting great fights. And that's something we were not getting on this side, on the American market. About something that grabbed my attention, right? About this piracy thing, I think Turkey might take this loss for a couple of years more, because I think it helps him somehow to end or to finish what's left of the market in the US. And when they finally get more control or total control on boxing, on the boxing business, they might take action on piracy.
Well, I tell you what, we need an Elon Musk for boxing. Because right now, it's not looking good, guys, for the health of the sport in the American market. But guys, I want to thank Mr. Fernandez. Also want to thank the real Mexican, F. Canelo Ugo. Also want to thank Big Rick Glaser for tonight. Also, Dominic, thank you for being here for the entire show, man. I loved your input tonight. Hope to see you on the chat one day. All of my extended family in the chat, good to see you, and thank you for being here, guys. On behalf of everyone I just listed, I'm Joseph Herron. You've been listening to Warweek Boxing. Have a great evening, everybody.
Rashawn Holdings proudly presents Warweek Radio Chats with ring announcer Joseph Herron